15 years after the fall of Emperor Palpatine, Rey Skywalker found herself standing at a crossroad. The hope of a new Jedi Order flickered dimly as Rey struggled to rebuild the legacy of the Jedi. Across the galaxy, Grogu, now a Jedi in his own right, carried the weight of a darker, more personal failure. For years, their paths remained separate, but destiny would bring them together to confront their fears, failures, and a new darkness rising in the galaxy. After the battle against Abeloth, alongside Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Luke Skywalker, Din Djarin, and the rest of the Ghost crew, Grogu was captured during the chaos by the agents of the Sith Eternal. Taken to Exegol, he was used in horrific experiments to harness his powerful connection to the Force. The Sith Eternal, seeking to perfect the cloning process and resurrect Emperor Palpatine, drained Grogu's essence, leaving him weakened and guilt-ridden. Grogu blamed himself for Palpatine's resurrection and the brief resurgence of the Sith. The weight of the guilt only deepened when he discovered that Din Djarin, his adoptive father and protector, had died during a skirmish with Imperial remnants. Isolated in Exegol, Grogu faced years of torment, struggling to resist the pull of despair and the whispers of the dark side of the Force. But Grogu's unbending spirit never wavered. Guided by the memory of Din's love and the teachings of Luke Skywalker, he planned his escape. Using his small stature and keen intelligence, Grogu sabotaged the Sith Eternal's systems and was able to flee Exegol aboard a stolen ship. Alone and haunted, he wandered the galaxy seeking purpose and redemption for his perceived failures. After Palpatine's final defeat, Rey sought to build the Jedi Order, but her journey was filled with different challenges. Many in the galaxy still viewed the Jedi with suspicion, seeing them as relics of a past defined by war and suffering. Recruiting new Force sensitives proved difficult, and even among those she found, few trusted her leadership. After taking the name of Skywalker, Rey found it very difficult to be trusted. Everybody knew she was not a Skywalker. When Rey did find Force-sensitive beings that were willing to learn the ways, she found herself asking for perfection from her students, pushing them relentlessly in an attempt to create an order that could and would never fail. Her inability to adapt drove some away and created tension among those who stayed. In her first major test as a leader, Rey's arrogance led to disaster. Convinced by her own invincibility, she led her students into a battle against a new dark side threat, a shadowy figure named Vorlax Varn. Varn, a former Jedi turned dark side fanatic, had discovered an ancient artifact called the Ether Prism, a Rakatan relic capable of amplifying emotions into raw Force energy. Rey's overconfidence binded her to the danger, and Varn used the prism to exploit her students' fears. The Jedi were routed, and Rey barely escaped with her life. This failure shattered Rey's confidence. She retreated to Ahch-To, contemplating abandoning the Order altogether. It was the words of her former masters, Luke and Leia, that brought her back. Through the Force, they reminded her that failure was necessary and a part of growth, a lesson she had yet to truly embrace. Rey returned to her students, apologized for her mistakes, and began rebuilding the Order with humility and compassion. Grogu's wanderings eventually brought him to the planet of Tython. This is where Rey had re-established the Jedi Order and began the building of a brand new Jedi Temple. Their first meeting was marked by tension and misunderstanding. Grogu, burdened by his guilt and very wary of the Jedi's legacy, questioned Rey's methods and her worthiness as a leader. Rey, still grappling with self-doubt, struggled to connect with Grogu, seeing him as a reminder of her own failures. Over time, however, they began to understand each other. Rey learned of Grogu's suffering at Exegol and his role in Palpatine's resurrection, while Grogu saw the sincerity of Rey's commitment to building a better Jedi Order. Their shared experience of failure and loss became a bridge between them. Vorlax Varn, empowered by the Aether Prism, had begun rallying dark side cultists and former Imperial loyalists to his cause. His goal was not conquest, but chaos, an unending storm of fear and despair to extinguish hope across the galaxy. The prism was crafted by the Raka thousands of years ago. Unlike traditional Sith artifacts, which amplify individual power, the prism was designed as a collective weapon. The prism acts as a type of conductor for the Force. It magnifies emotions such as fear and anger. It then turns this into raw energy that can then be influenced into the physical world. Because it heightens fear, making even the bravest individuals question what they are actually seeing, and this includes entire armies that can be paralyzed or even turned against themselves. Varn's goal is to fully charge the prism, and this will allow him to release a storm of dark side energy, saturating an area with fear and creating an oppressive void where the light side will be diminished. In the hands of a dark side user like Vorlax Varn, it amplifies fear and anger, spreading these emotions like a ripple through the Force to incapacitate enemies. The prism can manifest vivid, lifelike illusions tailored to each victim, his fears, the regrets, and insecurities. The illusions are so potent that they confuse the senses, even making people believe physical harm has occurred. When Varn's forces attack a major Republic world, Rey and Grogu lead the Jedi to confront him. This time, they fight as a united front, with Rey embracing collaboration over arrogance. However, the battle is far from easy. Varn uses the prism to manifest illusions of their worst fears, nearly breaking the resolve. Grogu plays a pivotal role in turning the tide in the battle. His ability to calm emotions and focus the minds of his allies counter the prism's effects, allowing the Jedi to resist this influence. Together, Rey and Grogu confront Varn directly. Grogu's Force abilities destabilize the Aether Prism, while Rey uses her strength to disarm Varn. In a climactic moment, Rey and Grogu combine their powers to destroy the Aether Prism, severing its dark influence and defeating Varn. The victory was difficult and life was lost, but this did mark a turning point for Rey and Grogu. Rey had proven that the Jedi Order could stand together, and Grogu had found redemption by embracing hope over guilt. In the aftermath, Rey and Grogu stood together as equals, their bond forged through shared struggle. The Jedi Order, still young and imperfect, had taken its first true steps toward becoming a force for peace and balance in the galaxy. Rey, no longer burdened by the need for perfection, embraced her role as a teacher and guide. Grogu, having overcome his own demons, became a symbol of resilience and hope for the new Jedi. As the galaxy healed, Rey and Grogu looked to the stars, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The legacy of the Jedi was not one of unbroken triumph, but of perseverance, and together they vowed to carry it forward.